Finding the next gem isn't easy, and it's super easy to get your account cleaned out by one of these so-called projects. And even investing in the coins that are well respected now aren't promised to be around for the future. And by the way, I have hundreds of videos on my channel that you can learn from and discover new projects. Also, you can be notified of all my market knowledge for free with my Telegram, and the link is in the description of the video. Some projects seem more like a projection of disaster because it leaves destroyed portfolios and broken promises for new investors and or gamblers who were gambling in the first place, so they weren't even promised anything. But you get the point. It seems like you can do all the research you want and still get wrecked by even the most respected communities. Luna is an example of this, and while you could have been looking at their white papers and seen the technology for what it was capable of doing, aka fighting itself, until it essentially drives itself insane, also known as the death spiral, neither myself nor you can tell the future, or we would have predicted this. Or we would have been shorting the market and we would have been super rich. And I'm sure that someone probably long or shorted Luna and probably got liquidated. Because let's face it, we all know there's money to be made, but it's just about the right timing. And nobody gets burnt faster than someone trying to time the market. This is why dollar cost averaging is such a powerful tool. Now there is a way to fight against this. One is to assume that everything you put into a project is counted as gone. Or two, you could diversify and manage your risk, which is what any halfway decent investor would tell you to do. Of course, without giving you any financial advice, because that's the last thing any of us need is to be sued in times like this. It could happen. Speaking of being sued, did you know that the rich own nothing? Let me explain. So most of the rich, at least the smart ones in my opinion, have nothing in their personal name. And I know the reason for most of this is tax purposes and breaks, but it also gives them a way to list their assets in a business name. So that way if they are personally sued, then their assets aren't at stake. So if you're on the verge of being sued, you know what to do. Not financial advice, of course. Exchanges are known to be hacked, with the most recent one I know of being Crypto.com. Back in January of this year, many people lost Ethereum right out of their accounts, bypassing two-factor. Now, thankfully, at the time, the exchange was able to reimburse the accounts that got their Ethereum ripped out and set up a new system where newly added withdrawal addresses get whitelisted for 24 hours. I find this kind of annoying, but if you know you're gonna end up sending some crypto to another address in the future, might as well go ahead and add it now. That way when it's time to send, you're not left frustrated. And if you don't know which address you're going to be sending it to now, but you know in the future you will send, then just go ahead and add a Coinbase Pro address, so that way you can send it to Coinbase Pro, and then once you send it to Coinbase Pro, you'll send it to your next address with minimal fees. I also have a Coinbase link down in the description below where you can sign up and get $10 in free Bitcoin. But for a second, imagine if they couldn't replace the funds. That's the reality for most people who get hacked, including myself. When I first got started in the space, I had bought some Electronium and some XRP. I don't remember the exact exchange that I was on that got hacked. To combat this, the only thing that you can do is go for a cold storage option. I have said this numerous times, and I have videos on my channel about some cold storage options. Always remember when going with cold storage options to never give someone your seed phrase or your 24 words, and to purchase directly from the manufacturer. It's important to get it straight from the manufacturer because it greatly reduces the risk that your device could have been tampered with in any way. Even though Crypto.com just purchased the stadium in California, they're still not perfect and vulnerable to attacks, and you should not keep majority of your holdings, if not all, on an exchange, just to be on the safe side.